perfect man. Got the whole world in your hands, but you still reaching out for me. Ooh, wow, why you love me too? I'm nothing like you. Opposite of holiness was what I was, but until you see my soul and could you see why? Hold my hand high, could you see the eye? And I'm better and better.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Morning Dove podcast. I'm your host Monea, and this is my co-host and fiance Ricardo.
Hey, how y'all doing?
With every episode, we try to take you out the matrix one step at a time.
The most important things are the things we cannot see. So our goal is to not open your eyes to God's existence, but open your mind to it.
We signify peace, hope, devotion, innocence, and most importantly, love. So this is a safe space.
Viewers listening advised. Try to follow along because we're about to take you down the rabbit hole.
Holla.
Hallelujah.
Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast.
Welcome back.
I hope you all had a great, amazing week. We sure did.
We sure did. Definitely did.
Yeah, God is good always.
All the time.
So we're going to get right into this episode today with Ricardo's verse of the week.
Yes, my verse is Ephesians 4, verse 32, and it reads, "Instead, be kind to each other, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, just as God through Christ has forgiven you." So,
Amen.
This verse was just, a really good verse to think about throughout the week. Remember to forgive each other, love each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of people kind of forget and tend to, move towards their emotions. But just remember to show love to everyone that you meet. Show love to your family, your friends. Just show love and learn how to forgive.
Yeah, that's a really big thing. And I know it sometimes can be a really hard thing too, especially forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's something that sometimes I struggle with is, trying to forgive people, especially if they really hurt you. It can be hard sometimes, but you have to think about how often God forgives us every single day.
Every day. And it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
We sin every moment of the day.
Right. So, yeah, that's a really good one. For my verse today, I have 1 Corinthians 9, verse 22. And I picked this one kind of going off doing my research on the last episode, our Michael Todd episode. And we might do a part 2 of that one, guys. That one seemed really popular, really controversial. It was really great conversations and research we had on that one.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read this verse for you. It goes, and this was from Paul describing how he basically brings people to Christ. 1 Corinthians 9:22. "When I am with those who are weak, I share their weakness, for I want to bring the weak to Christ. Yes, I try to find common ground with everyone, doing everything I can to save some." And I loved it so much because I was trying to figure out, is it wrong to try to have common ground with people and try to bring them in with things that they understand to Christ?
Right.
Because that's a big thing of what was going on with Michael Todd. I feel like he was trying to, and people called it conforming to the world, but I feel like he was just finding common ground with the world.
I agree, yeah. I mean, that's a really good verse. I really do think he did try, to find common ground with, people that just don't follow the faith either.
Right.
Consistently, or just, people new to the faith. Especially
people who just don't know God.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it starts with a conversation about your shoes.
Simply. It could simply just start from that.
Yeah. So we're not going to get too much into that, but you can expect a part 2 probably really soon. And we can get more into 1 Corinthians. But let's hop right into our news of the week. Mm-hmm. We don't have nothing too crazy, but I mean, there's always something going on, man.
There's always something going on.
I can't even say it's not crazy because it's
definitely crazy.
First one we're about to hit you guys with. I'm not sure if you guys heard of him, but there's this 9-year-old African-American rapper. 9-year-old. Yeah, you heard me correct. Some of you may know him. Some of you may not. His name is Lil RT. And he got big on social media from doing this extremely explicit song talking about grown women. I don't even know if it's grown women, but women in general doing fellatio on him. And really explicit stuff. And he's 9 years old, so it's that wasn't enough. It kind of got worse.
So, 9 years old is crazy to be speaking like this.
No, yeah, he was also on Kai Cenat, a streamer. He was on his show.
He was on his stream. Yeah. And, Kai, if we're talking about that stream, he really tried to enforce a little bit of, better teaching.
Yeah, Kai's cool. Kai's really cool, man.
You know what I mean? Pray over your food, simple stuff like that. But then in the most recent video that went viral for him, he was in a strip club.
Oh, yeah.
At first things first, I don't know who allowed a 9-year-old in the strip club. That don't even make no sense.
Mm-hmm.
But on top of that, the woman twerking on him.
Yeah, we're gonna put the video up for you guys real quick so you can kind of get on the same page of how mind blown we are.
This is wicked.
So let's put that up for you guys.
Look at them booty cheeks. Bow, 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 bow. That's that booty meat. Hey, 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 hey.
That's crazy.
It's sick, honestly. Like, if we're really talking about it, this is my beef with the black community. That we allow this.
He's 9 years old. Like, imagine your little brother going to the strip club. Why would you ever want to put him in that situation?
Bro, I don't even care if you're family. If I see any child in that type of environment, like, I don't even know. I can't even see myself in that environment.
Thing is, imagine your child there. Like, why? And then they're twerking on a 9-year-old boy.
That has to be sexual assault.
That makes no sense.
And that has to be child abuse, because I don't know.
That is not an environment for a 9. He hasn't even hit double digits. He hasn't even lived on the earth for a decade.
Yeah, but you know what? God did talk about this, and he said that closer to his time coming, the world will be as the days of Noah. I don't know if Noah had 9-year-olds getting twerked on back then, but you know, it's gonna basically just get worse. So just expect to see things that are completely backwards, completely unfair, completely disturbing in your news. But yeah, I think we should really just keep him in prayer, because the route that he's going, God forbid, we're gonna end up seeing this boy either killed or in jail, because that is the route his parents are leading him up to.
I mean, sadly, and especially because we know about, you know, the music industry.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh,
it's already sad to see that he's going down this road at 9 years old. Imagine when he's another 9 years when he's 18.
It's either, you know, violence for his life, or it's going to be selling his soul in the music industry. And I feel like that's already what's going on. His parents actually sold his soul.
Yeah.
Because where are his parents?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a video of him, of his parents in any of the videos.
I think I seen him on the Kai Cenat show, right? And he was talking to his mom, and his mom was talking, like, it just seemed real ghetto, real disturbing, like, just really horrible. And I just pray that, you know, somebody along his life can hopefully lead him up a better path. But the way it's looking, I really don't know.
It's sad, but
yeah, let's move on to the next thing. So, actually going back to Michael Todd, we never said he was perfect. So recently he did a sermon where he poured syrup on the Bible as an example. Now, I know a lot of Christians were very disturbed by this, because I can speak for myself. I don't put things on top of my Bible. I don't put my Bible on the floor. I don't like, you know, I just feel like it's disrespectful. So I know a lot of people felt the same way about this.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts?
A lot of people felt like that, but for me, it was really just he could have put a bag over it. I think that would have probably calmed the storm that he's facing. I feel like he probably just could have been like, hold on, before I do this, you know, bag it up.
Or prepare for that.
Prepare for it, because like it is something kind of sacred that we're supposed to. It's God's word. Like, yeah, we are supposed to treat it with high regards. But I understand he was making the point, and once again, he's not perfect, so I don't expect him to ever be or do anything, you know, perfectly. But you know, I just felt like he probably could have just put it back.
He could have done better, but again, it's not something that I would sit there and question his like character as a person.
Oh, no.
I would just say that he had bad judgment.
Yeah, that's a fair ground to say, because judging someone off of just one action is kind of crazy.
I mean, people have been really, I think it's just, as far as Christian content, it's been the most trending thing to just bash Michael Todd. Yeah. But again, like, you have to remember, he will always fall short. All of us will always fall short.
Always.
And, you know, we have to keep him in prayer that he doesn't let the, you know, the negativity that's been going on cloud him even more into just all just going, like, just doing worse things.
Yeah, people aren't helping. Like, even,
you're not, like, it's negative.
I'm be so honest with you. Y'all trying to call him out all over social media. It's not going to help him. Yeah. I want y'all to know that. That just clouds up his judgment, and now he's in fear. He's moving in fear because of what you guys are saying. And now he probably can't reach the extra 100,000 people that he could have reached. Yeah.
And actually, talking to another content creator, she made a good point that he's good at media. So he sees that this will draw attention in the media. And if you hear our dog, very sorry, just ignore that. But that's what he's doing as a way to draw attention for his platform. Not saying it's the best, but again, we never know if he saved somebody with that sermon as well that day.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, is the physical book of the Bible more important, or is saving souls more important in that case? But he could have done better. That's my opinion. He definitely could have done that in a better way.
He could have, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Our next thing for today, for the ladies again, I'm sure some of you have heard in the most recent news that they are trying to label embryos as being seen as children, which is really, took me off guard for a minute too, because it's like, if you're going to start labeling embryos as children, do we get benefits from that and stuff? Like, like, do we get money from the embryos? Like, if they're seen as children, they should get the same benefits as a child alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. What do you think about that?
I mean, it all starts from an embryo. So it all starts from the egg. So I honestly think, that it is a child, because it is just one step away from, starting a new life, like starting a brand new life. But they definitely deserve to, I guess I wouldn't say begin on like benefits, only because it's still in the, like, it hasn't formed yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? You kind of don't water seed outside of the ground.
Like, what I'm saying is, like, we have kids right now who can't, like, kids who are struggling, kids who can't afford things, kids in the streets, kids who, parents didn't treat them right, are struggling. So it just sucks to see that, like, basically they're trying to say these are children. When are we going to, like, is it the same energy for real life children and for, like, I don't know how to explain it. No, but I
think they definitely should put more time into helping the children, like, of the physical now.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think they definitely should, put a little bit more effort and emphasis on the children that are, like, struggling right now. Putting a lot more time into that, because worrying about embryos in the woman's body, I'm like, I mean, it got nothing to do right. They're not doing nothing right now. It's not a real person just yet. So
being a Christian, I always want to stress that, pro-life is always the best thing for what God would have wanted for us. He says that he designed us in our mother's womb. So he knows us from, life in our stomachs. We have, I think, it's like almost an opening for our souls, like a woman's body. You know what I mean? That's where our souls are formed. So I would always say, like, pro-life. However, God is also a God of choices. So he would never make laws forcing anybody to do anything. That's literally the opposite of who our God is. Yeah. So, for the state, I don't believe in state and religion coming together. So for, laws to come in saying that women have to do this for our bodies, it's not who God is. It's not biblical. So, it is biblical, of course, to, life, of course, like, I do believe that there is life formed in the womb, even as an embryo. However, I don't believe in forcing someone to keep that if that's not the decision that they have made. Right. That's my always opinion on when it comes to pro-life, pro-choice. It shouldn't be forced. However, I do believe that, life is very important to God.
I agree.
And, more news to that, fun fact I learned actually this week was that as far as birth control pills and everything like that, did you guys know that birth control actually the idea came from a man named Dr. Clarence Gamble, and he was actually a racist. Crazy. And they try to hide this information a lot of the times because they don't want people to do their research. But however, he originally designed birth control for, black women. And he basically was trying to slowly get rid of a whole race of people. And so I don't want people to get so caught up in, the idea of birth control and, like, of course, do what you need to do for you. I'm not saying don't do it, but remember that just, like, why and where it comes from. Just do your study on the origin of it, because you'll be surprised that the way the government forms things and the way that, your doctor is pushing things is for a darker reason. Yeah, I mean, just remember the things you put into your body, God didn't make that for make that for us. We were living perfectly fine without anything. You were living perfectly fine before you was taking it. But, just always remember to just, pay attention to what you put in and do your research on things, Right.
A lot of people don't know, but just do your research. That's what we tell you guys to do every day, every week.
Yeah, and that's probably a whole other episode, is just, the pharmaceutical businesses and money and the corruption in that. Big pharma. That's a whole nother episode. But just for women, just do research on what we're putting in our bodies, and especially Black women, everything is not what it seems. So while, it might be pushed because of whatever XYZ, originally a lot of these concepts came to get rid of the Black race.
Yeah.
So birth control was originated from a racist, and you can look it up yourself, and it's just really scary to think it's pushed so much now. It's just not, it's unnatural. But however, again, I am not against choices, so you have to do what's best for you, but just remember the origin of everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
But okay, we're going to get right into our episode topic for this week. We're going to keep it short and sweet for you guys this week. I think we did a whole big episode last time, and I want you guys, if you didn't check that out, definitely check out our last episode. It was really good.
It was a great conversation.
It was really good, and I want to have maybe a debate on it, because it's very torn, I'm seeing right now in the Christian community. Like, people are like, Mike Todd, have grace for him, and people are like, expose evil, and I'm just like, like, it's a really good topic, and I'm not going to go too much into that. Let's get right into our topic of this week. So this week we wanted to really talk about how you are more important than you think. And we want to talk about, why are people unaliving themselves, and is life actually really just a sad place to be?
Yeah. This is gonna be a good conversation.
Yeah,
because you are more important than you think. I think a lot of people forget that. They go through everyday lives in full repetition. Yeah, and they kind of forget. They just kind of forget who they are sometimes. They kind of forget
why we're here. But a lot of people don't know why we're here. So
that's very true.
That's kind of how we're gonna break down this episode. So is it okay if I start with the story that I wanted to start with?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so while we were thinking about this episode, I remembered we were going out to eat one day, Texas Roadhouse. Shout out the bread.
Shout out the bread.
I had this hat on, and it was, what's that girl's name? Lisa Simpson. Yeah, it's a really cute little retro hat I had on, and it had her on it. And turns out our server, ironically, had a tattoo of her, and it was the same exact photo of her, and it started up a conversation. And it's funny because before this, we were having a conversation between us in the car about how everybody just is sad. Nobody's happy these days, and everybody's just tired of working and just tired of living. And turns out when we talked about this picture I had on my hat, she had on her arm, the tattoo, it started this conversation about how she's honestly just tired, and she was like really opening up to us at this restaurant out of nowhere about just like, how the people are racist, and she's unhappy. And it was a while ago, so I can't remember exactly, but
it was about like a year ago, but
it definitely was around that basis.
She just got into the cost of living. Like, life is just, working jobs that are pointless, and stuff like that. Like, she really opened up, and we appreciate it, but it's sad to see that a lot of people are just feeling sad and depressed. Yeah,
and just stuck in a cycle. We talk about cycles a lot here, and how to get out of them, and also why it feels like you're in a cycle. And a lot of times people forget that, especially, atheism pushes for this. And I feel like it's such a sad way to live with no meaning. And I love God, because without him, there would be no meaning, And I think a lot of people who don't know God, sometimes you can get really trapped in just like, why am I even here?
Yeah. But a lot of people fall into that hole, and they start to feel like they long for something. They're missing something.
Yep, and that's a really big part of it. And people don't know what it is that they're missing. Like, there will be people who have amazing lives. They have money, they have kids, and then there's still something just like, but what am I missing? Yeah. And sadly, some people just turn to substances, drugs, gaming, or just unaliving themselves. Suicide rates are crazy. Especially during COVID, we saw a spike in, depression, suicide. And it's just, why? You have to ask yourself that question. And I believe it's, simply not knowing who God is, and not realizing that we are, this is one of my favorite things to say, that we are spiritual beings on a physical journey. And really really think about that. You know, we're more than our flesh, and a lot of people don't understand that analogy.
We're way more than our flesh, way more.
Yeah.
You know, the Bible even talks about, you know, when you fast, you know what I mean? Like you don't have to like worry about like the food that you eat, the water that you drink. It's really the spiritual that you need to be like spiritually fed.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of times our flesh, it'll be like, oh, you need the money, you know, you need to eat, or you need to, you know, smoke, and it's like, but are you happy? Most of the time you're not, and you're missing something. And you know, even me, like a story, in middle school I was severely depressed, and there was a lot of bullying happening in my middle school at the time, and we actually had kids who were killing themselves. And you know how scary that is to think you could be in middle school.
It's so sad.
Taking your own life. And that stuck with, I realized, a lot of my middle school class for a very long time.
I mean, it's y'all are young. Y'all are a very young group of kids.
It was low-key traumatic, I ain't gonna lie. Especially if you knew the people. And I actually was friends. It's so sad. I was actually friends with the people whose sister took her own life. And it's just so sad to think about, because we were kids and we had our whole lives ahead of us, and it put a really dark cloud on our whole class for the rest of the year. But it was sad because, you know, while this was happening, people were still being bullies and stuff, and people were really mean to me because at the time I was relaxing my hair, and after a while, if you don't relax your hair as a black girl, like when you look down, your hair looks up. It's real stiff, and kids were calling my hair like dead tree roots, and I didn't know how to stand up to myself. I didn't really talk to people, and it was just a really hard time. And you know, I didn't really talk to my family much at the time, and I was looking at really like depressing stuff like 9/11, weird stuff like that, and I fell into a really like dark place. And as a kid, I started doing things to myself that wasn't really good. And I say all the time that I feel like God saved my life, because I don't think I would have been here, honestly, without him. And it's like really emotional story to talk about. I don't talk about it much, but this is supposed to be it's supposed to be like a transparent podcast, transparent place. And I don't remember, honestly, there was a time in my head and I was thinking really dark thoughts, and it was almost like I didn't want to be here anymore. And I swear it was God who saved me, because all I remember really, it was a really long time ago at this point, but I remember praying and just breaking down in tears, and the thoughts I was having, they were gone. And it was, I don't remember in detail. I just know it was God. And because if I didn't know God, if I wasn't born into Christianity, imagine if I was just not in the same position to know God, I don't think I would have been here. And that's I know it's a crazy thing to say, but as a kid being bullied every day, you know, not talking to my parents. My mom was working a lot. My dad didn't understand how to talk to a teenage girl. You know what I mean? The communication wasn't there. I had little to no friends. Watching depressing stuff around the world, it was almost like, why? You know, like, why? What is the point? Why not? And not that I can see why people do it, because it is a sad thing, but I understand. The world is a really sad place, and when you don't have a reason, or, you know, a reason more to like who you are, I can see why it's something that happens a lot without God. Sad story. I'm sorry, that was dark.
It's okay. Thank you for sharing.
It's true to me, and I never thought I'd share it on a platform. But I don't think I'd be here without God, and it makes me sad thinking about the people who don't know him. You know, like, can you imagine that? You want to put a verse? I mean, with going off that, you know, that's bringing a verse that tells people how special they are. You know what I mean? How important they are, not just to God, but maybe to others, but from God. So let's read from Psalm 139, 13 and 14. Okay. And it reads, "You made it all, the delicate inner parts of my body, and knit me together in my mother's womb. Thank you for making me so wonderfully complex. Your workmanship is marvelous. How well I know it." Amen. God is so good. You know, it's really so amazing to think, like, he knew you before you were even in your mother's womb. He knows the hairs on your head, and he you all have a purpose. I want everyone to know that.
Yes, you do.
You're not here for no reason. Oh my gosh, I have a great analogy, kind of a story. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot.
Okay.
It's a podcast. It's a podcast. I can talk. I had a public speaking teacher named Miss Turner, and she was so great. And she gave us a story about how, just how we are made in our mother's wombs and everything, and the whole process of like the sperm meeting the egg. You know how much work and how amazing just that process is of even like, the sperm hitting the egg and like the race and just like our DNA and who we are. Like everybody who's here is here for a reason. That whole journey alone is crazy. If you do your research on it.
No, it is. It is absolutely crazy. From the moment the sperm is, in a woman, it's a crazy part of life right there.
It's insane. And just like, what if like you ever think of like another sperm hit the egg, and if it was like a different version of you? Do you ever think about that?
I actually never thought of that.
Are you serious?
No, not really.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah,
like it would have still been Monea, but it would have been like
you could have different like personality traits.
Yeah. But that's the thing though. We're all here for a purpose and a reason. And if you're ever in a dark spot, just think that you being here is 1 in a million already. It's such a beautiful thing, and everything happens for a reason. And bringing back to pro-life, like that's why I'm definitely pro-life, if I would say, but I'm against the state making those laws. But everybody doesn't just come about. We're all special souls, and everybody's here for a purpose, and it gets better as well. That's another thing,
It absolutely does get better.
Life definitely is in seasons, and God talks about that a lot in the Bible. So, and prophets go through a lot of seasons as well.
They do.
And it's funny because you're letting me talk so much this episode. I'm so sorry. There was which prophet was the prophet that was telling God he wanted to die and he was tired and he was just over life, and then God told him to just eat some food and take a nap. Do you know which prophet that was?
No, I'm not sure what prophet
I'm gonna look it up.
Chill the copyright.
Okay, wait, let me look it up. Are you just gonna watch me look this up?
Well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know what prophet that is, I'll be honest. That must have been a Bible story I missed out on.
Elijah.
Oh, it was Elijah.
God allowed Elijah to sit in his depression just so long. Then he told him to get up and return to his way of life and get to work again. There is no medicine so powerful as a new task.
Well, there you go.
I remember in the story, though, God told him to literally like take a nap and eat some food. He said
relax and get back to it.
Yeah, so like literally sometimes you just need to take a nap. So maybe you're not like super like depressed, but maybe you just need to take a nap and eat some food. Because I will say though, the way that the world is set up, there's no time. It feels like there's almost no time to like rest though, like all seriousness, and no time to like kind of rejuvenate yourself. And it's definitely designed like that on purpose. Everything is designed on purpose. I want you guys to know this.
Remember that.
Conspiracy thought. Satan designed everything to kill us. He does not like us.
Look, he's the prince of this world, so remember that.
Yeah, so everything is designed to kill us, basically. So the fact that everything is so fast-paced is done on purpose because they don't want us to have time to sit with ourselves, time to, like, eat healthy, time to just take care of our bodies. That's why everything's just always like, go, 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 go. But
yeah, that's what they want you to do. They just want you to be on go, and it's sad.
It is sad. I just can't imagine being, like, atheist. Like, you wake up and you just, what's the point?
I don't know, but I feel like a lot of atheists definitely go through a time where they feel depressed and they feel like nothing because they don't have a purpose. Yeah,
like just like knowing God when I am in those dark spots. With me, I'm kind of weird though, because like not even weird, but I just treat God like, because he is real. Like he's very real to me. So like when I know I'm doing wrong, I just don't talk to him, which I know can be Satan, but I'm not the type to go and do wrong and then pray, oh God, please, I'm so sorry, and then go do wrong again. So, like, when I am doing wrong, I don't talk to God because I'm not going to go and talk to him knowing I'm about to go do wrong the same night, which I know is the enemy in my head, but I don't want God to feel like I'm using him. But when I am in those moments, which I haven't been in those moments in a very long time now, when I was in those moments, I was the lowest I was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like you need that, like, spiritual recharge.
Yeah, you do. definitely.
And like, there's nothing in this world that feels better than getting in the presence of God. And I really wish I could share that with more people, or that more people felt that. Because I don't think there's anything better in this life. Because when you think about it, the smoking and the drinking, like, it feels cool for the flesh for like a moment. But then you go back home, and what do you feel?
You still feel like you're missing something.
It's just like, what's the point? You know what I mean? The job can't fulfill you. Your girlfriend, your boyfriend won't fully fulfill you. And, you know, that's another thing, is people think when they get in a relationship, their life automatically gets happy.
No, this is not the case.
No, because after a while, you get, you know, it becomes regular. You're still not happy. So I know people search for that in relationships. I think that's one of the biggest ones these days.
Definitely. They end up hurting people, being, one, emotionally unavailable.
That was so me, yeah.
Being emotionally unavailable and spiritually being unavailable too. That's also gonna, you know, hurt a lot of people.
Yeah.
When you're trying to just go through the motions, trying to, you know, cling on to the puppy love at first. That brings you joy, but then soon after, you're kind of just done with them when that kind of fades away. So
yeah, because it definitely doesn't last forever. And then you realize you're just both two broken souls, just chilling together. But that's why it's so good to keep God in the center of your relationship too, because when you are spiritually charged, it just feels so good. And just the concept of, you know, being Christian and knowing God is love.
Yeah.
So you're gonna obviously try to, you know, be more patient with your partner, be more kind to your partner. It just instills a lot of, like, you know, it just instills a lot of positive things into your relationship automatically.
I agree.
Yeah. We're going to read this verse for you guys. It's taking from 1 Peter 2 verses 9. It just really talks about, you know, just talking more about how God made us specially and in his image, which is so beautiful. We were talking about that today, actually.
Yeah, it talks about just being a chosen people. So it reads, "But you are not like that, for you are a chosen people. You are royal priests, a holy nation, God's very own possession. As a result, you can show others the goodness of God, for he called you out of the darkness into his wonderful light."
That's a really good one. Yeah, when you realize, like I was saying earlier in the video, in the podcast, that you're a spiritual being and you're not a physical one, it completely like mind-blowing. Because it kind of like you take yourself out of like what you see. Because the most important things, when you guys realize it, are the things that we can't see. It will completely change your whole perception of the life that we live.
Absolutely. The biggest things that we cherish are the things that we can't see, we can't hold on to.
Oh my gosh, you think about it, it's love. You know, of course that's actions, but it's still something that you can't see. You know, you think about the air we breathe. Air is the most important thing we need. We can't even see it. What's another one? I know love, air. Can you name another one? I'll give you a hug if you can think of another one.
I would say like joy, happiness. You can't touch or hold that either.
I'm not giving him a hug.
Well,
I'm just kidding. But yeah, when you really sit and think about that, so you don't think that, you know, your soul, something you can't see, is the most important thing of who you are? It really is. And
it is.
You have to charge that before you charge anything else.
Absolutely.
And I remember my coworkers used to make fun of me for that, because I was always super positive, like, you guys are so important, like, you're all special, you're all so loved. They were like, "Aw, are you trying to say that we're all special people?" I was like, yes. Like, you all are so important, more than you know, and you all are, you know, God's children. And I just want to spread that love everywhere.
Continue to spread that. It helps a lot of people more than you think.
Yeah, because it sucks when you hear everyone is depressed, everyone has anxiety. And what sucks most is, like, the people in the Christian community who feel like that. Because you guys have the key, and you don't even realize it. You know what I mean? You guys have the key, bro. Like, you need to be really sitting in that with God. Because, like I said, there's nothing better than being in his presence. Absolutely. Yeah, there's really nothing better. Really nothing better. Have you ever had a moment where you felt like that? Like, you felt like you were missing something? Yeah, I'd say I did. Especially, you know, right in the time I was just going through the motions. You know, going through my everyday to day. I felt like there was always, I ended up chasing, like, you know, weed or another substance to fill in my time, when it was really just my spirit yearning for God. You know what I mean? Looking for more time with him, you know? Yeah. You know, I feel like a lot of people kind of run to other things when they feel empty. Absolutely. Yeah. Something my mom used to say is like, if you were to die tomorrow, what would they say about you? And it's really changed how I viewed my own life, because think about that. If you died tomorrow, what did you contribute to the world? Who did you touch in the time that you were here on earth? And are people going to remember you, or are they just going to say, yeah, that girl, she used to have cute Instagram pictures.
Yeah.
Or that guy, yeah, he was pretty fit. He did a lot of basketball. Like, but what did you contribute with your time on earth?
Yeah, who did you touch? You know, who did you reach out to? Who did you share the gospel with, really?
Because when you realize that, like, that's why I'm not afraid to die for God. Because that's all I'm here for, is for him. He created us, of course, to worship him and to, you know, to be with each other. I think he said in one, I don't know which verse it is, but he says, like, the most important things that are free is joy, love, peace,
and fruits of the Spirit. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I'm not afraid, because I know that I'm here for a reason, and I know that I'm his child. And like, if I were to die tomorrow, it's like, I know where I'm going. Right. And you have to think that way as a child of God. You have to live that way, actually. Knowing that if I, you know, live each day like, what? I don't want to say like your last, ain't no YOLO.
Live each day like Jesus is coming back tomorrow or now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Live each day sharing his love, you know, being the best version of yourself, and really just reaching out to people. Because the one time you may reach out to someone, maybe the day you change their life.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But yeah, I think that's about all we have to share with you guys this week. Just, you know, really remember that you are special, even when you don't feel like it, even when, you know, that person might have broken your heart. Or, you know, one of my favorite things I used to say when I was single is man's rejection is God's protection. Just a heads up. Don't let people determine your worth. You know, you're so much more. You're beautifully made. You're absolutely more. You're worth more than you think. Absolutely. To God, we are his precious children. So always remember that. Keep that to your heart, because you are special. Whether you feel it now or whether you feel like other people don't show it to you, you're special. And always remember that God loves you. You know that, VeggieTales. We can end this episode. God made you special, and he loves you very much. VeggieTales was spitting, though. They was cooking. They very much took that for granted, because it's real. It is real. But yeah, and whenever you guys feel empty, realize that it's your soul crying out for God. Because when he gave breath to Adam and Eve, when you think about it, our souls are literally parts of God. He gave us the breath of life. Yeah, it's so beautiful to think about. He breathed life into us. So our souls are literally parts of him. And when we feel empty, that is just us missing our Heavenly Father. Yearning for God. Just don't, when you feel empty, whether it's throughout the week, throughout the year, you know, maybe for a small time, just take that time to read a verse, and you just enter his presence. And even when you don't feel like it, because when you don't feel like it is when you need it the most. Yeah, and you'll really feel his presence when you really sit down and try to talk to him. So and if you know people who are struggling, if you know people who are sad, you could send them this podcast episode just to remind them that, like, you are special, you are loved. Absolutely. Even if it doesn't feel like it, your Heavenly Father loves you. He thinks about you daily, and he wants you to come to him. Absolutely. Just spend a little time with him. It doesn't have to be a lot, but as something I always try to remember is try to treat God as your best friend. Yeah. The same way you would love to run to go talk to your best friend, run and go talk to him. And feel that change, feel that difference in your heart. Because sometimes our friends even disappoint us. Our friends can disappoint us, our family, our jobs. Nothing is guaranteed but God's love. And just remembering that this is just a journey that we're going on, but the most important part of this journey is the essence of who you are. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's everything. I think so. And just don't run from him. Because I know I did. And I know when it's not worth it. It's not. Because you're running from... running from the best thing you could ever have. I think that's why we run from it, though. I think sometimes we enjoy being sad. Not everyone, but I think sometimes we just... I mean, before we break it down too deep, you know, it could all range from the music we listen to and what we put into our bodies. So if y'all over there, as much as I like Rod Wave, as much as you listen to Rod Wave making you sad. Oh my gosh, Summer Walker, she putting you in your bag. So don't be surprised when you kind of get into a sad mood when the spells They are spells, absolutely.
are reaching you and making you repeat the chants of the song. But
yeah, no, they're definitely spells. You know, I could think of 1,000 ones. Like even Janae Aiko, she sings some pretty sad stuff sometimes, and it might sound good in the moment, but you have to realize you're feeding your soul that.
you're feeding your soul that. So instead of singing that, go recite a Bible verse, and I'm telling you, feel the difference.
Even that new SZA song, I was bopping that, man. And then we sat down and we listened to the lyrics, and it was like, dang, she's really sad.
Yeah.
And like, you know what? Just because we're talking about it, I'm gonna read the lyrics of that new song by SZA. And you know, I love my girl SZA. Don't judge me. I'm trying to get off of the secular music. But anyways, this song, she says, if there's another universe, please make some noise. Give me a sign. This can't be life. If there's a point to losing love, repeating pain, why? It's all the same. I hate this place. Stuck in this paradigm, don't believe in paradise. This must be what hell is like. Like, you don't realize that you're singing it. And I like the song a lot, but I had to sit down and we talked about it, and it was just like, yo, I wish I could show her that God loves her.
I wish we could, but.
And that's how so many people feel right now. And when you are feeling this and you do sing that song, it just puts you deeper in that place.
It does. It really does.
So, you know, just also, if you do know God and you are in a better place, you have to pray for your brothers and sisters. You have to pray for your friends and your family, your loved ones.
Don't forget to pray for them. Put them in your prayers. Your prayer can definitely maybe have the chance of changing someone's life as well.
Yeah, I have to work on that myself, is praying for the people around me. You never know. Your prayer might be the one to change somebody's life. But okay, let's not drag it out, because we tend to do that. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please take it to heart.
Please.
And I hope that we helped you in some way this week. If you were feeling down, you were feeling like you weren't enough. You are more than enough, and you're special. Wow. We sound like kindergarten teachers.
Well, they were spitting though. Because you are special.
You are special. Let's end up with that VeggieTales. Ready? God made you special, and he loves you very much. Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching the Morning Dove podcast.
There we go. That's how we end things.
All right, good?
Very good.
All right, you guys have a great week.
Peace.
She'll be learning how to breathe, spinning through identity, reveal another pretty little scheme. Save her mind.